Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is the Sonic headquarters and today we're gonna be talking about some retro Sonic lore and a scrapped character. Today we're gonna be talking about Tiara Boobowski from the canceled Sonic game, Sonic x-treme. So a lot of people are familiar with Tiara Boobowski. She's popular within the Sonic community and she's a scrapped character but very beloved. And I think like a very long time ago I came across Tiara when this was just a fresh when the information was fresh and not very well known. That's when I came across it, so I am familiar with the character. Here's the story behind the character Tiara Boobowski. Tiara, also known as Princess Tiara, and Tiara B, is an anthropomorphic manx cat created for the unreleased Sega 32X action platformer Sonic Mars. Originally intended to be one of 6 playable characters, issues during development forced the team to focus solely on Sonic the Hedgehog, and the idea of in-game partners were scrapped together. So if it's a Sonic game, of course they want them to focus more on Sonic, because when playing a Sonic game, they're it's not necessarily a demand, but Sonic is everybody's favorite. And plus, if the game is like a Sonic game, it's gonna always be focused on Sonic sometimes, Following this, she was worked back into the plot as a potential love interest for Sonic. Her creator, Sega Technical Institute artist Chris S, hoped that Tiara would become an equal match for someone like Sonic, and feels Mars could have focused more on the relationships. Between Tiara and the other characters. However, as the project evolved into Sonic x-treme, it became clear that story had to take a backseat to gameplay design, and eventually Tiara was dropped from the game altogether. So they had to just stop and work on something else involving the game. So they dropped her. Maybe because, the game, the sole purpose was to just do the level design and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe they had to focus on other areas of the game and creating the character and just designing it and just attending to the character wasn't it was taking too much time, and so they were told to focus on other parts of the game basically. So maybe Tiara's creation was time consuming, taking up too much time, or it probably was a deadline. They wanted to get the game done as fast as they can. That's unfortunate though, because she really has a unique design. It looks very cool. Character conception. Tiara Boobowski was created around 1994 by Sega Technical Institute artist Chris S. Intended as a spunky female protagonist who couldn't match Sonic in attitude. In Chris's own words, a girl power character with the team striving to avoid the damsel in distress. That is a great idea. So we want to have the whole trope of Sonic saving her. Just like how Mario has that trope where he has to save Princess Peach. Just like how Mario saves Princess Peach, they want to avoid that, because if they do that, that will make them similar to Mario. That's a good idea. Avoid the damsel in distress trope, prevalent in the gaming world at the time. She was originally slated to be an anthropomorphic bandicoot, but was later reworked into a manx cat. Chris's art of the character is drawn with the different principles of Sonic the Hedgehog in mind, such as a round head and connected eyes, ensuring she would naturally fit into the existing cast of characters. He goes on to say that any preserved similarities between Tiara and Sally Acorn are entirely unintentional. Okay. When they say this, Sally Acorn is supposed to be Sonic's girlfriend. Oh, when he says this, like, Sally Acorn was the love interest of Sonic also, and she was able to, like, fend for herself, and she knows how to do a lot of things. Like, she was a great female character. She could fight her own battles, basically. Just like Tiara was made to be a female love interest for Sonic. But Tiara can also fend out for herself as well. I'm not saying both of these characters are similar, because they both, like, got dynamic designs which make them stand out, and they have unique personalities as well. You can easily tell Tiara and Sally apart. Sometime in 1995, a series of 4 new clothing designs for Tiara was created, intended to generate discussion around the character. Proposed designs included a form-fitting red dress, a tank top, and a skirt, a variation on the previous with a visible midriff, and one with no clothing akin to Sonic and Tails. Visually, Michael Kosaka said he envisioned her as having more attitudes. Chris redesigned her appearance accordingly. As a result, Tiara gained a new stance and outward demeanor, as well as a sporty new outfit. Chris felt this design properly conveyed her attitude as a character, but following the project's cancellation, he admitted that her earlier design was his favorite. Tiara's name was chosen by Michael Kosaka early in development, when she was still a playable character, with Kosaka and Chris agreeing that the name fit the role of a princess. When the concept of multiple characters were dropped, so was Tiara Pedigree, but her name remained. Her surname of Boobowski was not originally intended for the character, but instead is taken from the character of Gazebo Boobowski, her father. Chris clarifies that he chose the surname simply because he thought it sounded funny, denying that any adult puns were involved. He explained that for this very reason, the seemingly adult nature of the name, the character chooses to abbreviate her name to Tiara B. History. The story to Sonic Mars changed numerous times over the course of development, with Tiara's role in the plot changing accordingly. She was, or intentionally, envisioned as a princess with a father named King Cyberuski. A rework to the plot required a professor character, and King Cyberuski was re-Christianed Professor Gazebo Boobowski, with Tiara losing her royal status as a result. Her father was now a master ring smith, a role which draws inspiration from the Archie comic series, in which rings are objects which can be created, and both characters now acted as ring keepers. For the reason the two will be targeted and eventually kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik. In an early storyline by Chris, is known under the name Sonic Twist, Sonic travels to a romantic location in Tiara's kingdom for a date with the princess. However, to reach this location, he must journey through many difficult obstacles and enemies. Dr. Robotnik learns of Sonic's date and attempts to destroy the landslide between Sonic and the princess. During gameplay, Tiara occasionally appears from the corner of the screen to comment on Sonic progression. The longer it takes Sonic to reach the end of the game, the angrier Tiara will react when he finally reaches her. If players collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds, Sonic fashions the gems into a necklace and gives them to the princess. At least that is something unique about her. See, they gave her some type of mechanic, a gaming mechanic, and this was be exclusively to her. So she is, like, she was supposed to be a part of the game. She's reacting to how long Sonic takes to come see her for a date, while Robotnik is actively trying to stop him, causing chaos along the way. But that would have been very unique to see. That would have been fun to see, actually. In another storyline by Chris, known as Sonic Boom, Robotnik has suddenly found himself infected by the deadly Doom virus. In order to obtain the ingredients needed to fashion a cure, he plans to infect Sonic with the same virus and let the Hedgehog obtain a cure for him. To this end, he kidnaps Tiara and chains her to a wooden platform hung over a bed of deadly spikes. Thankfully, Sonic rescues her in time, only for Tiara to reveal that the chain had been laced with the Doom virus, and Sonic is now fatally infected. The blue blur's only hope is to seek out Tiara's father, a professor who lives in a castle on Misty Peak. Upon hearing of his daughter's rescue, Professor Tiara Boobowski gladly helps Sonic on his adventure to find a cure. A third storyline, co-written by Chris and Richard Wheeler, Sonic Doom, features Robotnik cracking open the domestic chaos in an attempt to tap its power. As a result, the Doom virus is released into the air, fatally infecting Robotnik. After failing to intimidate the professor into researching a cure, Robotnik kidnaps the professor's daughter, Tiara, knowing that Sonic cannot resist rescuing someone in need. Robotnik uses her as bait to lure in the hedgehog, which Sonic quickly arrives on the scene and ends up rescuing Tiara. She quickly informs the hedgehog that he is now infected with the new virus as well, and the two seek out the assistance of Tiara's father for a cure. Okay, so these two are the same thing. It's just a third storyline though, but it's kind of the same thing. It has the same plot, but it's just rewritten. It has the same plot as the previous one, but it's just rewritten. So Sonic Boom and Sonic Doom is basically the same thing. But that could have been like interesting to see as well. Like, how often do you see Sonic get sick? And how often do you see Eggman get sick? And then we would have been like taking on a crazy adventure with these two new characters. With each story, you're just getting used to them and seeing how they play out in this game. Personality. Tiara's personality was rarely expanded on. Tiara's personality was rarely expanded upon by Sega Technical Institute staff, but her creator Chris S. envisioned her as an athletic, spunky character who could match Sonic in demeanor. Specifically, her visible passion for fitness was chosen to be expanded on later in Sonic Mars development, when she was given a more sporty attitude in each iteration of the story. She retained her role as a potential love interest for Sonic and even showed a bit of jealousy and competed with Amy for his attention. So she's aware of outside characters. Crazy. Outside of her adventures fighting against Dr. Robotnik, Tiara plays electric bass guitar in a rock band and owns a dog named Vader. Her hobbies include tennis, snowboarding, step aerobics, bicycling, rollerblading, dancing, solving puzzles, listening to grunge music, playing her bass guitar, and performing live in her band. Above all, she enjoys intelligent conversation and shows a notable disinterest in ignorant hedgehogs. She had a whole personality. She was just like a unique character. She has like a bunch of hobbies. She has a unique personality as well. So he did good with that. But she wasn't just like a character just made without anything else to make the character stand out. So he did a good job with that. Originally, Tiara was envisioned as one of the 6 playable characters in Sonic Mars, a game in which each character would feature unique gameplay mechanics and camera angles. After being rescued in Cryptic Grotto Zone, she would become unlockable as a playable character. Tiara's gameplay was set to feature 2-dimensional side-scrolling action with the ability to travel between different planes and foreground and background. According to Chris S., when the Saturn action platformer Clockwork Knight 2 was released, the team realized that Tiara's gameplay was exactly what the entire game. Clockwork Kosaka elaborated that Tiara would function as a support character similar to Tails, with abilities roughly matching Sonic's own. Additionally, some iterations of Sonic Mars saw her wielding a magical scepter with which she can perform new power moves. Outside of this, she would also appear during gameplay every 50,000 points to encourage the player. Tiara's most unique ability is her control over the power of electricity. She can perform the jump spark Tiara attack, in which she uses her electrical powers mid-jump to attack enemies in place of a spin dash. She performs the Tiara takes Shihan Tornado, an electric themed ability which functions the same way. Most importantly, she can also transform her body into a cloud of electric particles moving in a figure 8 pattern, carrying Sonic for a brief time before she tires. Even Tiara's victory animation was themed around her electric powers. Upon finishing a stage, she would cause a spark to fly outward from her fingertips in celebration. Chris also designed an exclusive enemy for her, a flying insect badnik with a flashing light bulb, but it never appeared in further material. In other media, Tiara makes a pair of brief cameo appearances in Archie's Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. In issue 134, she can be seen in the crowd gathered in Green Hill Park and is a witness to Sonic and Sally's breakup. Later in issue 138, she is seen working as a waitress at Uncle Chuck's Diner. In a July 2019 Q&A session with fans, series Arthur revealed that it is highly unlikely Tiara will make any further official appearances, but refused to elaborate on the reason why. That is the story of Tiara Boobowski. Now, it is just unfortunate that she had to be scrapped and just like unusable, and the whole game that she was supposed to appear in was just cancelled, leaving her behind, making her a scrapped character within the Sonic universe, and that is very sad. We could have been introduced to some very cool, unique concepts with this game. Like, it would have been interesting to see Eggman getting sick, you know, or Sonic rushing to go on a date. That would have been cool to see. And then like with the game, with how it looks and stuff, it kind of reminds me of like Sonic 3D Blast a little bit, you know, but I wouldn't mind seeing the game in this like style and these graphics. I wouldn't mind seeing it like that, you know. That would have been cool. On the top of all that though, we just lost another character that could have been like a great addition to the Sonic universe. She had a unique personality as well, with cool powers, and I think Tiara was just like, she was a missed opportunity. I know telling her how this game could have done, it sounded like it could have did pretty good though. These concepts really sound interesting, these level concepts, and the game didn't look that bad either, and the character design just is amazing. It looks just flawless. Yeah, but and then they said that there is no way for her to come back, and it's confirmed by somebody who worked on the Archie Sonic comics. She won't make any further official appearances, and that is just crazy too in itself. It's just sad, but you can tell that the people who was working on this game, they actually cared about Tiara to the point where they gave her a storyline, unique character design. They put a bunch of time and effort into creating this character, working her into these levels, and you can tell they had some unique ideas for her going. She's a character that uses lightning. She has lightning powers, so that would really like separate her from the main Sonic cast, and it was just none of this stuff would be used. It just go to waste, and that just really makes me feel bad about this whole situation. I mean, I love this character's design, and I liked what direction they was going for when they was creating this game, and it's just very unfortunate. This could have been a very popular game. To me, it could have been very popular, or a well beloved, well remembered game, because some people, even if the games are old, some people do go back and look at it and are still impressed by stuff like this. I wish they would have released the game. This is crazy, and I wish she would have just became a part of the Sonic universe at least. So that is the story of Tiara and the development of Sonic X-treme as well. But in the Sonic community, there's a lot of people familiar with her, and she has a bunch of fans and a lot of fan art, and she's not forgotten, thankfully. And there's a lot of discussion around her too as well. So in a way, she does live on, even though her game and her character, they were just like left behind. Even though her game and her character was left behind and not included in Sonic material, in official Sonic material, because they decided to not go any further with the progress of the game and decided to cancel it. So yeah, even though she is a scrapped character, though, I respect her, and a bunch of other people do too, and a bunch of other people just wish that she were in some type of Sonic material. Yeah, but that is the entire story. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video.